Conflicting reports in Delhi University Vice-Chancellor Dinesh Singh's resignation. The HRD ministry says it has not received any resignation letter. The Congress accuses the Modi government of destroying institutions.
The MHRD gave the direction under section 20(1) of the Act to direct the UGC to scrap and roll back the program.
UGC member Ansari tells CNN IBN that the HRD ministry must step in to resolve the crisis as a directive to scrap the 4-year program came from the NDA government.
What next for the students who are caught in this tussle? That's our top focus. You're watching News 360. I'm Palki.
Good evening, I'm Arunodaya Mukherjee, and the other big headlines also caught in a tussle are the Indians stranded in Iraq, asked to take commercial flights from airports in Baghdad, Erbil and Basra. The government set up camps in Najaf, Karbala and Basra to provide assistance. 17 moved out of the conflict zone. 39 Indians still remain in captivity.
Mumbai police take Preeti Zinta to Wankhede Stadium. Her statement on her complaint of assault against former boyfriend Ness Wadia is being recorded there.
The BJP government bends under ally pressure. The rail ministry to do a rethink for suburban train commuters after the Shiva Sena lodged a strong protest in favour of Mumbai commuters.
Clarity on gas prices expected in the next few days. The Prime Minister and Finance Minister review the Rangarajan formula approved by the UPA even as the Oil Ministry works on a new cabinet note for gas prices.
Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan sues a Congress leader for alleging that his wife had links to the pre-medical test scam.
British Prime Minister David Cameron's former communications chief Andy Coulson found guilty of conspiracy to hack phones while he was editing the News of the World. Rebecca Brooks cleared of all charges in that case.
And tonight in Brazil, it's a knockout, a must-win match for Italy and Uruguay as they take on each other in the group of death.
Italy versus Uruguay. Who will enter the round of 16? Tweet at IBN Live with hashtag #TheBeautifulGame. You can call us on 01204341895. We'll be taking your calls at 8:30 p.m. First, the big developing story. After days of standoff with the UGC over the 4-year undergraduate program, no clarity for the students or the staff at Delhi University.
Confusion reigns over Delhi University's Vice-Chancellor Dinesh Singh's resignation. The HRD ministry says it has still not received his resignation. The University Grants Commission had directed Singh to scrap the 4-year program and revert to the 3-year undergraduate course, but Singh refused to comply with the UGC deadline. Meanwhile, sources in the HRD ministry telling CNN IBN that Dinesh Singh did not follow due procedure in implementing the FYUP program. Sources also pointing out to us that perusal of files reveals that there was some degree of illegality in pushing through the 4-year undergraduate program.
Whether Vice Chancellor has resigned or not, the way he has run this university in last 4 years in a dictatorial way, he and whole of his team should resign.
At this time when the students are coming from all over the India with their parents, they are already arrived in Delhi. They are hoping to get admission. This is not a time to test waters and to know what is happening and what is not happening. The point here is that at any cost, the admission should start in the 3-year course as has been directed by the UGC very rightly.
Sir, what are you going to advise Mr. Dinesh Singh?
I am going to advise that autonomy of Delhi University is to be preserved and the UGC directive is illegal.
Sir, also, did you speak to him? Has he resigned, sir?
No, he has not resigned, as per my
When did you speak to him last?
Half an hour ago.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So that was the legal advisor to Mr. Dinesh Singh saying that he hasn't resigned, also that he's going to advise him that it's about Delhi University's autonomy in New Delhi. This is Sahil Murli Meghani.
Do you think UGC has stepped too much on the side of its taking its own authority over the autonomy of the university?
Well, as you know, in the entire process, UGC, the full commission has had taken the decision to advise the university to review and reconsider the FYA program, and that was the end of it. But later on, the MHRD gave the direction under section 20(1) of the Act to direct the UGC to scrap and roll back the program. So now this has been done at the instance of the MHRD, and therefore the MHRD is responsible for resolving the dispute. On 13th June, the full commission had taken a view on this issue and advised the university to review and revise the program. But within a week's time, a directive was given by the government to ask the university to scrap this program, and therefore here is the political element in the whole process.
The facts are unambiguous. The 4-year program has no validity or recognition by the UGC. It is an illegal course. The Vice-Chancellor of Delhi University did not send the ordinance for approval to the Honorable President, who is the visitor of Delhi University. If I recall, the Vice-Chancellor has lied on public television saying that the President or the visitor had approved these courses.
Do you think today that this situation could have been handled much better?
I think if we believe in the autonomy of universities, and we alone are not the ones to say so, the Supreme Court has said so in an 11 judges judgment, TMA Pi, then we must live by that, by that autonomy.
While the BJP government now is targeting the central government, saying all the mandatory clearances were not taken, and the former HRD ministers misled Parliament over the issue.
I would just attribute these statements to generously to inexperience. It may be useful for somebody to sit down and in a calm manner explain what was the reasons why we opted for this.
Let's go to our correspondents who've been bringing us updates on the story all through today. Meenakshi Upreti is at North Campus in Delhi University. Sahil Meghani is at the Vice-Chancellor's residence. Sahil, first of all, any clarity on what the Vice-Chancellor's status is?
Will he or won't he? Has he or hasn't he? These are the questions. Even as the sunlight is off and artificial lights are on, there is no light on these questions, and the suspense continues to build over VC's resignation. And the nerve center of all the action is the house of VC right behind me, where hectic parleys continue. Even as of now, meetings are on. A cup of tea. It's being officials are trying to convince Dinesh Singh, if he hasn't resigned, not to resign, and if he has, then to take back resignation. But no clarity yet on if he has resigned or not, Palki.
And as you point out, whether there will be light at the end of the tunnel for the students, and I think that's the big question that Meenakshi Upreti perhaps can help us with. Meenakshi, you've been tracking students through the day today. You're reporting from the North Campus. What is the general sense that you're getting? Of course, we saw heavy politicization with the ABVP students, NSUI, ISA as well. What exactly is the overall sense and the sentiment that really is coming out?
You know, Aruna, you're asking me to tell you what is the overall sense here. I'll tell you something. From the morning, I think every couple of hours a new news development is coming. The mood is changing. There was a time when, we had this news that the VC has resigned, which had come. Let me tell you, first of all, from the VC's office itself, when that news came in, there were celebrations here. Students were bursting crackers. And now when there is no clarity if the VC resigned or not, it's like a camera person could just pan and show you. I know the lights are a little dull, but see, students are protesting here, asking the Vice-Chancellor to clarify his stand and asking him if he hasn't resigned to step down finally. I have some students with me. I guess, let's talk to them directly. Just tell me one thing. There is no clarity from Delhi University, even as the future of hundreds of students, is in the lurch. Do you not think it's time that the university makes its stand clear?
Definitely. There is a confusion prevailing on all of the university right now, and we definitely want the Vice-Chancellor to take a stand. It's high time. And we definitely want him to resign first. There is no question of letting a person who makes with anti-student policies to stay on that seat anyway. And we're not, first of all, protesting right now. We are on a vigil to reassure the parents that the admission would be starting, on a vigil to, reassure that the FIUP would be scrapping.
Right. You want the FIUP to be scrapped. You also part of the protest actually. Did you tell me that you are a student of the first year and you were enrolled in FIUP? So then why do you want the FIUP to go?
Because this is on the both level. There is a two aspect of any program when you are implementing anything. First the infrastructure and second the content. The infrastructure and the contents is both the worst. in this university, so we didn't want to learn the FYP.
Right. But you know, students like hundreds of students like you are suffering. You know, you've also done 1 year in FYUP, and still there is no clarity from Delhi University. Should the VC not break his silence finally?
Yeah, of course. See, actually, we did not gain anything from this FYP. This was a very disastrous program which was introduced by the autocratic VC, and now he has not even. We are not even clear that whether he has resigned or not. There is suspense over this. We have been continuously protesting over this issue because they are teaching very primary level of things in these foundation courses. We do not want to study all this. We have come here to take honors in our specialized degree in our own course. We do not want to study primary level things like prime numbers and natural numbers. So that's why we want this to be rolled back.
Right. So you know, Aruna, you heard from the students here. The general mood, at least here, is that FYUP should be rolled back. But I guess the most important question here is, why is the Vice Chancellor still silent? It just takes one email from the registrar. You know, why doesn't he just convey what is going on? Admission process has been deferred. The cutoff list were to be coming out from today. Admission process was going to be started from tomorrow. None of that has happened. Completely harrowing time for the students here.
Right, even though a lot of these students have political affiliations, Meenakshi, you've been speaking to many of them through today. Do some of them feel that they are being victimized in this political battle, in this tug of war that is going on? They are the ones who stand to lose the most?
Yes, Palki, you know, as you said rightly, most of these students have political affiliations, but there are also students who are studying in Delhi University. Like this kid I just spoke to, you know, he has studied first year in the FYUP. Let me take your question directly to him. You know, do you think that students like you, even though you have political affiliations, but keeping that aside, do you think students like you are getting involved in this tug of war, this politics? And do you think anyone really cares for the students right now?
So actually, let me tell you, I did not have any political affiliation earlier, but I came into political affiliation because this FYP, I found it was very disastrous. See, actually, when we came to DU, we were not knowing what is this FYP. But when we studied these very primary level of things of 9th and 10th class, we did not wanted to study these things in our graduation level.
FYUP, but do you think students are suffering right now? And you know, there are protests, there are a lot of political noises, Congress blaming BJP, BJP blaming Congress, but students like you are being ignored.
Yeah, we are suffering because there is a very few times in the semester system, and when will the program will start in the university very late, then we have to not lots of times to learn anything, and in the start of the program we have faced many of the problems.
Right. So you know what, Arun, actually the student has raised a very valid point. The admission process is deferred. That means the new session also is going to get deferred, and their course is going to get deferred. And if these people have to go back to 3 years, the poor kids will have to study in 2 years what they would have studied in 3 years. Because remember, in the first year they've only studied foundation courses. So students who are in the university, who have studied FYUP, who want to, you know, take admission in the university, all of them really caught in a bind, caught in this political tug of war.
Right, and that's what really is bringing the big question, you know, at the doorstep of the Vice Chancellor of the Delhi University. Sahil Meghani continues to be with us from there. Sahil, you know, you've been speaking to a lot of people close to the VC as well. We've seen sharp polarization at the Delhi University, be it students, be it teachers. There is that clear divide that continues. What exactly have people close to the VC been telling you really about the next step that is going to be taken? Because these concerns have to be addressed, and also about the fact that the VC still hasn't broken his silence.
People who know, or people who have been coming to meet VC, they are backing him. They are backing him, and they are saying that the next step is to actually take it to court, as the legal advisor just suggested in his press conference, that they have legal options, they can explore them. So that is going to be the next option if this does not get resolved on a consensual basis, if this gets dragged on further. To give you a sense of the mood, what mood VC is going through, they are saying that they have been trying to convince him, but VC is not saying much. He is not speaking a lot. A cup of tea has been served to the guests inside, and they are continuing to convince him that if you haven't resigned, then please don't, and if you have, then take it back.
Right, Meenakshi and Sahil, thanks very much for that. Sahil spoke about a lot of people who came to meet the Vice Chancellor. One of them was activist Madhu Kishwar. She is hit out at the HRD Minister for the mess that the university is in at the moment, and she says that she hopes Prime Minister Modi will resolve this issue soon.
Ma'am, you have been critical of the HRD Minister. Do you think the issue has been mishandled?
It's not just been mishandled. I think this is one of the biggest blots that the BJP government has earned for itself for no reason. even if they had any angst against this Vice Chancellor, which I think they had no reason to. They should have gone through a due process. They should have set up a review committee of non-partisan independent experts. I am convinced that his reforms were well intended. He worked extremely hard. He fought against vested interests, and I think it was in the interest of students to try and upgrade this Delhi University. You've punished a good VC without due process, and to me this is utterly shocking.
That also brings us to the other big talking point tonight. Is Dinesh Singh the real fall guy in the Delhi University FYUP row? That is the talking point tonight on India at 9 with Bhupendra Chaubey. All right, breaking news coming in. The BJP government, it seems, is bending to ally pressure over the rail fare hike.
Relief, we understand, for suburban train commuters coming in. No change in fares for the first 80 kilometers. 10% fare hike for second class and first class AC season tickets. In addition, 4.2% fuel adjustment charge to be levied. Maria Shakil joining us on the phone line. Maria, after resisting all the pressure from all sides, the government seems to be bending after MPs from Maharashtra spoke to the Union Railway Minister.
That's right, and the context that was given by the Shiv Sena and BJP MPs was that Maharashtra is going to polls towards the year end, and it's likely in December. And this kind of increase, which was essentially resulting in almost like 100% doing away with subsidies that Mumbai local travelers, and also let me just add, Palki, here that this is relief not just for Mumbai, it's for suburban travelers across the country, which also includes Chennai and Kolkata. There are suburban trains in these parts of the country as well. What this essentially means now is that the railway is essentially pointing out that this cannot be called a rollback, and this is essentially some kind of restructuring or modification of fares. What is the four big points that we can safely tell our viewers is that suburban journeys up to 80 kilometers, there'll be no hike. What it also means is that in MST, which is essentially monthly seasonal tickets, 30 days is the validity of these MSTs. Railway charges only up to 15 journeys and subsidizes the rest. After the revision that happened a week back, what had happened was that MST was to be charged for all 30 journeys. Now the railway has worked out a formula which essentially means that there will be a hike of 10% and 4.2% will be the FAC component. And also important is that this was supposed to be implemented from 25th. That's from the midnight. But now the railways are saying that this is essentially, it will be limited to the reserved seats, and for the unreserved, they have extended it till 28th. So we can safely say that this is some kind of relief that is coming for suburban travelers, and particularly in the context of Maharashtra, because Uddhav Thackeray did register his protest with the finance minister, and the finance minister, though, had conveyed that there will be no rollback, he had said that his views would be considered.
Right.
So now, after a series of meetings that were held in the railway ministry today, a formula has been worked out.
Right. In fact, that is the big question as well. While this is good news for commuters, suburban train commuters, really, Maria, but would it be right to say that when you heard the finance minister, the railway minister, so categorical that this is a decision that is going to benefit the railways, this is a decision that needs to be taken, would this be the first major political challenge that the BJP was faced with as far as allies are concerned?
Besides the allies, I would say that there were protests happening in various parts of the country. Though the government has really stuck to its stand as far as the train journeys are concerned, and that 14.2% FAC, which is essentially the fuel adjustment component that was added, and the government's argument was that it was part of the interim budget, which was left by the UPA government. The entire financial components and the calculations that was done by the railway ministry was done keeping this 14.2% FAC in mind, and that it should have been incorporated by the UPA government itself, which was not done. Now what has happened now is, Palki, it's important to point out that the railways is maintaining that there has been no rollback. So this is essentially some kind of modification or restructuring, a formula that has been worked out, particularly providing some relief to the suburban travelers.
Right, whatever they term it, as long as it brings relief to the commuters, they will be happy. Maria Shakil, thanks very much. But it's not just rail fare. The government government also looking to hike fuel prices.
It's also saying that the oil ministry has proposed a hike in LPG prices by 5 rupees per unit and kerosene by 1 rupee per unit. This may be done in phases. The proposal is likely to be opposed by some BJP members as well as allies.
And on the proposed review of gas prices, sources say the oil ministry has started preparing a new cabinet note suggesting a review of the UP's Rangarajan gas price formula. Prime Minister Modi and Finance Minister Arun Jaitley are yet to decide on the matter though. And we are taking a break with this up next. Mumbai police take Preeti Zinta to the Wankhede Stadium.
Well, they will be recording her statement in the case against Neswadia. Stay with us for the very latest. All right, breaking news now coming in on that Delhi University four-year undergraduate program row. It seems there's more pressure now on Dinesh Singh.
The UGC has sent another letter to Delhi University asking it to admit students to its 3-year courses. Out of 64 colleges under the university, 57 have sent their replies agreeing to comply with the UGC's directive. Priyanka Dubey joining us on the phone line. Priyanka, the Vice-Chancellor is completely isolated now.
Clearly, it seems like colleges have decided to go ahead on their own. 57 out of the 64 colleges under the Delhi University have already sent their letters of compliance to the UGC directly. This includes colleges like SRCC, St. Stephen's, Hindu, all these important colleges, Gargi College, Delhi College of Arts and Commerce. So 57 out of 64 colleges have already sent the report saying that they will instead scrap the SYUP and comply with the UGC directive of reverting back to the 3-year program. Along with this, the UGC has already constituted the standing committee, which is right now in the process of deciding how the migration from the SYUP to the 3-year undergraduate program will be commencing. And the UGC has also sent another letter to the Delhi University directing it to send this letter further to all principals who are left, all principals of all college, saying that they have to comply to the 3-year undergraduate program. A copy of this letter, we are being told, has also been emailed to each every individual principal of colleges for necessary action. Palki.
All right, Priyanka Dubey, thanks very much for that update. So interesting development there. Meanwhile, in other news, actress Preeti Zinta is at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium.
The police is recording her statement in that assault case against her former boyfriend Neswadia. According to sources, the process of recording her statement could be spread over 2 days. Remember, she has accused Neswadia of abusing and threatening her during an IPL match at the Wankhede Stadium on the 30th of May. Shavan Sen with the details.
We're inside the Wankhede Stadium and behind me is the Garwade Pavilion where the alleged argument between Preeti Zinta and her former boyfriend and team co-owner Neswadia is believed to have taken place. As we speak, Preeti Zinta's statement is being recorded by Mumbai police. We're also being made to understand that the spot punch number of this particular pavilion that you're seeing on your screens will also be done after Preeti Zinta is likely to be brought here. There are certain specific questions that Mumbai police does have for the actor. For instance, where does this alleged argument actually take place? Remember, this entire stadium has several CCTV cameras. We are being told that over 172 CCTV cameras are here. Preeti Zinta is also likely to be asked who were the people who were actually witness to this entire incident. Also remember, the fact is that Preeti Zinta in her complaint letter did say that the alleged argument actually took place here at the Garwade Pavilion on May 30th. According to sources close to Neswadia, this entire argument was because of seats that were basically reserved for the promoter. But right now, as we speak, the investigation certainly hinging right now on the supplementary statement that is being recorded at this point in time, and also the spot punch number, which will be done anytime soon.
Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has filed a defamation case against Congress leader K.K. Mishra.
This after Mishra had leveled allegations against Chauhan's wife over the recruitment scam allegedly involving manipulation in the selection process of for government jobs conducted by the State Professional Examination Board. Mishra claimed that 19 transport constables were from Gondia, the native place of Chauhan's wife. K.K. Mishra, though, continues to stand by his allegations. Right, let's get you the latest in the situation of Indian citizens in Iraq.
The Ministry of External Affairs has said that 17 more Indians have been evacuated from the conflict zone and moved to Baghdad. 46 nurses in Tikrit remain safe. Ministry officials say they are in touch with them. The MA also saying that the 39 Indians in captivity in Mosul have not been harmed. It says those in safe zones can take commercial flights which are operational from Baghdad, Erbil, Basra and Najaf for all assistance from the embassy there. The MA also saying that it is setting up official camps in southern cities of Iraq to help Indians there. They're out of the conflict zone, but if they wish to return home, they can. There are committees that are being formed with the Iraqi government to help Indians with immigration problems.
We have, with the help of the local authorities, been able to evacuate 17 more of our nationals from the zone of conflict. We have been in touch with the 46 nurses, and I can also confirm to you that they remain safe and there has not been any threat to their safety and security. I can reconfirm to you again today, despite the skeptics who think that this is a non-issue, let me reconfirm to them that they remain in captivity but have not been hurt or harmed.
Continue hoping for the best. Meanwhile, in more news, a verdict now has been declared in the UK phone tapping scandal involving editors of the former British tabloid News of the World.
Former editor Rebecca Brooks has been cleared of all charges, while former editor Andy Coulson was found guilty of conspiring to hack phones. He served as the communications director to British Prime Minister David Cameron. The nearly 8-month-long trial was triggered after revelation surfaced that the News of the World newspaper tapped phones to get stories, listening in on the voicemails of celebrities, politicians and even crime victims.